여러분 반갑습니다. I'm Kwon So-wa and this is K-Culture Dive. Join us in taking a deep dive into the heart of Korean culture, from K-entertainment to AI news and to culture reports. Plus, we'll look at how K-art is making waves at the Venice Biennale with the artistic director of the Korean Pavilion there. And with that, let's dive in. Joining me for today's show is Bella Kim. Hello, Bella.
Hi, Soa. And hello to everyone joining us today on K-Culture Dive. I'm Bella Kim here to co-host and bring you the latest in K-entertainment.
Okay, starting off on the K-enter front then. So Bella, we're going to start with a story about a veteran Korean actress.
Yes, Yuh-jung has been nominated for Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Limited or Anthology Series or Movie at the 78th Primetime Emmy Awards. She received the nomination for her role in Netflix Beef Season 2, where she played the role of Chairman Park, a Korean billionaire. If Youn wins an Emmy, she will add it to the Academy Award she received for Minari in 2021, further cementing her status as one of Korea's most celebrated actors. Previously, Lee Jung-jae won the Best Actor award at the Emmys for Squid Game in 2022. Meanwhile, the second season of Beef earned a total of 16 nominations at this year's Emmys. The 78th Emmy Award ceremony will take place on September 14th in Los Angeles.
You know, it's amazing to be just nominated for this prestigious award, but it's really not easy to receive one. As you said, Lee Jung-jae, and there was also Yumi as Outstanding Guest Actress for Squid Game. So yes, let's hope that Youn can also add an Emmy to her award list. And let's move to BTS, Bella. Last week, I think you reported that they are holding concerts and fan events in London, but this time they are collaborating with the British Museum.
Yes, you're correct. BTS are introducing Korean culture to global audiences in a very unique way. The group have partnered with the British Museum to launch a special interactive exhibition titled Korea Gallery Trail to celebrate Korean cultural heritage. The program is part of the group's BTS The City Arirang London project, created to coincide with BTS's World Tour concerts in London. Inspired by BTS's latest album, Arirang, the exhibition highlights themes of hope, resilience, and belonging through Korean historical artifacts. One featured section focuses on Silla-era treasures, reflecting the inspiration behind the album track number 29, which was based on the sound of the ancient sacred bell of great King Seongdeok. For people in London, the exhibition will run until July 23rd at the British Museum's Korean Gallery.
Wow, what a creative way to introduce Korean history and culture to BTS fans.
Yes.
But let's now move to a girl group. And this girl group has made a surprise chart reversal.
You're correct. We're talking about Lee Seon's hit song Love Attack has reached #1 on Melon's Top 100 chart nearly 2 years after its release in 2024. This is also the group's first time topping the chart. The song rose to prominence because of a viral social media meme, Yahoo, featuring members Wonnie and Minami. Building on this momentum, Lee Seon just released a remake of Kara's hit song Pretty Girl on Wednesday. The new version has already entered Melon at #6, giving the group 2 songs simultaneously charting near the top. As we witness the group's growing popularity, we have to now yell, Lee Seon, Yahoo!
And by ending with a Yahoo! With more nasal sound, let's do look forward to their activities in the future. And I think they are going to be a great inspiration for other groups from relatively smaller agencies. And in fact, our AI anchor Arirang has more news related to that as well. But for now, thank you very much, Bella.
You're welcome, stick around.
All right, and with that, let's go over to our AI anchor Arirang. Arirang, fill us in.
Thanks, Swa. Here's your AI guide to the latest cultural headlines from Korea. Let's begin with our top story. The Korea Heritage Service has selected 18 public and private organizations as official partners for the 48th session of the UNESCO World Heritage Committee, set to take place in Busan this month. The list includes the Korea Tourism Organization, National Geographic Apparel, the Jogo Order of Korean Buddhism, game developer Dev Sisters, food company Pingre, and the Korea Railroad Corporation. Busan-based partners include Bexco and the Busan Chamber of Commerce and Industry. The organizations will support a wide range of event operations, including diverse services for participants, program management, and promotional efforts. Culture Minister Chu Hyung says the government will expand support programs for Korea's small and mid-sized K-pop agencies to help them expand into overseas markets. Speaking at a meeting on sustainable growth in the K-pop industry, Che said the ministry plans to double the scale of the support programs for smaller K-pop agencies next year. He added that he's also working with fiscal authorities on introducing tax credits for their music productions. The ministry pointed out that although Korea's music exports continue to grow steadily, the industry's long-term growth could be constrained by structural challenges, such as rising production costs, a widening gap between large and small companies, and regional imbalances. A special seasonal program will open at Changdeokgung Palace, where visitors can step into the world of Joseon royalty and discover how kings and queens stayed healthy during Korea's sweltering summers. Beginning next Wednesday and running through August 16th, the Royal Summer Retreat program will offer visitors a chance to sample traditional royal wellness drinks, make fragrant herbal sachets, and explore the role of the royal pharmacy. A multilingual handbook of the Dongi-bogam, the renowned Korean medical text inscribed on UNESCO's Memory of the World Register, will also be handed out in 13 languages, including English, Chinese, and Japanese. The program is free for all Changdeokgung ticket holders and will run from Wednesday through Sunday each week. That's all from me. Turning now to a quick look at more K-culture stories making headlines today.
Korea's cultural traditions are being shared in new ways, not only with tourists, but also with the people who now call Korea home. At a Buddhist temple in Seoul, migrant workers from Laos were invited to experience Korean temple culture while connecting through a faith they already share. Park Chae-ryung reports.
Agricultural workers from Laos sit with their hands neatly folded, bow in prayer and listen attentively as a Buddhist monk shares teachings of the Dharma. Quiet and reserved at first, many appear calm as they encounter a familiar faith in a different cultural setting. The migrants have been invited to a temple in Seoul to experience Korean Buddhist culture. The group then took part in a lotus lantern making session. Before the activity began, an instructor explained that although the lotus flower blooms from muddy waters, it remains pure, making it a powerful symbol in Buddhism.
I've always liked lotus flowers, but making one myself felt special. After spending most of my time working in Korea, joining a Buddhist event like this reminded me of home and helped me feel a little more connected to Korea.
As an interpreter guides them through each step, they then carefully glue together paper petals and leaves before placing a small light inside, gradually bringing their lotus lanterns to life.
I've taken part in many Buddhist events in Laos, but this is the first time I ever made a lotus lantern like this in Korea. I'm really happy to be here and take part in this event with my friends.
Then, a Korean percussion performance began. The participants clapped, cheered, and filmed a Nanta-style drum and samulnori performances on their phones. They were then invited to try the instruments themselves, quickly becoming immersed in the rhythms as performers and spectators came together as one. Later, the participants sat down for tea and traditional refreshments prepared by the organizers. They carefully poured and shared tea, experiencing another aspect of Korean temple culture. For migrants who may still miss home, the event offered a chance to better understand Korea through a familiar faith. Through a shared Buddhist tradition, this little culture exchange offers a small but meaningful step toward bringing migrants and local communities closer together. Park Chae-ryung, Arirang News.
From hanok homes to centuries-old folk villages, traditional architecture is an important part of Korea's cultural heritage. In Asan, Chungcheongnam-do province, one village is keeping alive a 500-year-old tradition of handcrafting thatched roofs, one bundle of straw at a time. Cha Yoon has more.
Trainee thatchers carefully twist some straw rope. As the bundles of tied rice straw pile up, they gradually take the shape of Yuh-jung, a Korean traditional roofing thatch. Once these layers are stacked and tightly secured, a thatched roof comes to life.
When I was young, my grandmother lived in a thatched house, and I watched the roof being put up. I've always been curious about how the roofing process actually works.
The entire process is done strictly by hand, preserving a traditional method that has lasted for 5 centuries. Currently, there are only 10 designated masters of Asan City's folk culture heritage who carry on this tradition. However, these masters are aging, and finding new inheritors has proven difficult. Refusing to give up, the city recently opened a new training center dedicated to professional education to ensure the craft survives. The Weam Folk Village Conservation Society is now hoping that the craft of thatch making will soon be designated as a national intangible cultural heritage to attract more public interest.
To ensure that the craft of thatch making is passed down, the country needs to designate the craftsmen as national intangible cultural heritages to boost participation in our training programs.
Asan City is trying its best to let people experience traditional culture by opening various cultural events. Cha Yoon, Arirang News.
The Venice Biennale, widely regarded as one of the world's most prestigious international art exhibitions, is once again welcoming visitors from around the globe. This year, the Korean Pavilion is drawing considerable attention as well. To learn more about this year's exhibition, we're joined by today's K-Correspondent Binna Choi, or Choi Binna, Artistic Director of the Korean Pavilion at the 2026 Venice Biennale, who is here in the studio with us. So welcome, Binna.
Hi, Binna. Thank you.
So we're very happy to have you here in Korea, actually. So you are the Artistic Director of the Korean Pavilion at the 2026 Venice Biennale. But could you please tell us what was going through your mind on the opening day? So looking back at the opening day, how was it for you?
Well, now it's like about 2 months ago, and the public opening is preceded by the 4-day preview, open for the professional around the world, like critic, curator, collectors, and media, of course. So it has this vibe that everyone is here, and they are not just there, but they are like voraciously like roam through to see what's finally unveiling and evaluate and judge. So it's quite nerve-breaking that you, as an organizer, curator, and artist, present this to those who want to see and check. Other than that, it's there's a beauty in it. It's like kind of reunion of old friends and old colleagues and meeting new friends. And on that note, the opening of the Korean Pavilion was very special in the sense that for exact duration of the opening ceremony, the rain poured down. But almost nobody left, and everyone stood there throughout the event until Japan Pavilion also joined for co-celebration. So this is first time that Japan and Korean Pavilion collaborate together in the history of 2 pavilions.
Wow.
So that was moving.
Thanks for taking us back to that very special moment.
I know, it was nerve-breaking and also excitement joined together at the same time. So we do want to now hear about the central theme of this year's Korean Pavilion and why you felt that this was kind of the theme that you wanted to go at this year's Pavilion.
The theme, as in the title, the liberation space, with the subtitle fortress/nest, and liberation space in Korean 해방 공간 refers to the transitional period in Korea from 1945 when Korea finally freed from the Japanese colonial rule, and for 1948 when 대한민국 government separate from the northern part was established. So as you can imagine that you are very excited as a like new sovereign subject, but you don't have a government. So there are a lot to figure out while dreaming newly born nation. So it's exciting, but uncertain and challenging period. I thought this period is not only historical and actually reflecting the time that we live in, as we saw also in Korea, like just about 2 years ago in the winter 24 and 25, there was a like very sudden martial law, and people had to be on the street to put the order of the country back. So with the subtitle Fortress and Nest, I thought a fortress and nest referred to what kind of nation that we want to have. Fortress, that defending, closing down, and always in tension and conflict, or nurturing, taking care of each other, and eventually like flying. So it's a good time for questioning about that.
Very interesting and very deep as well, I would have to say. Speaking of deep, there are also some very interesting collaborative works at the Korean Pavilion, for instance, involving Nobel Prize winner in literature Hangang. So her sculptural work is also displayed there among other creative artists' works.
Right.
So how did these collaborations come out?
Right, Hangang, the most famous fellow among the 5 fellows whom I invited so far. So they include independent writer and singer Arirang, farmer and activist Kim Hoo-ju, and a photographer Hwang Hae-ji, and also Rwandan artist Christian Yampeta. They all share their own way in different medium, a story of liberation space. So this is an extension or expansion of the collaboration that is fundamental for the Korean Pavilion, which is the collaboration among me and then 2 artists and sculptor Choi Go-eun and No Hae-ri. Together we studied and considered how to present the Korean Pavilion as a liberation space, thinking that the Korean Pavilion is very interesting and symbolic actually of Korea as a relatively new nation or nation in the making. And as a result that each artist brought something very exciting and meaningful. Should I go further on what Go-eun? So Go-eun installed over a dozen of copper pipes as if they are penetrating Korean Pavilion from inside and outside, or outside and inside. So pipes there look like acupuncture needle. So it's a gesture to heal the architectural body, but also the body of a nation, as if by opening where it blocked. And Harry created a kind of membrane, like embracing membrane, along with the along the shape of the Korean Pavilion, which is very like embracing the audience. And in that she installed like 8 different stations for taking liberation as a practice. So there's a station for living, and station for remembering and mourning, but also mending and sharing and so on.
Right. And Pinna, what also stands out is the pavilion itself. The pavilion, the exhibition has been transformed as an experience for the visitors. Could you tell us more about that place?
Yeah, thank you for pointing that out because I wanted to make more than an exhibition. Exhibition, something that you look at from a distance, but I wanted to make it as something that you bodily experience and share and use it. So I say I wanted to use the Korean Pavilion as a long-term project to actually make the Liberation Space Monument not only in Venice but also in Korea, maybe around the world. So there is like ultimate or long-term aim that is to materialize and install Liberation Space Monument in the heart of Seoul. Actually, now I see the image of Gwanghwamun here, and one of the most exciting candidate, as I'm thinking, for the liberation space within Seoul is the U.S. Embassy. And I know that U.S. Embassy has a plan to relocate because the building is quite old. And whereas the Gwanghwamun is quite a symbolic and meaningful place for history of Korea and democratic practice and so on. So like imagining the future of the U.S. Embassy for liberation space is something that I like to invite people to think together.
Definitely. And so the Venice Biennale welcomes, a lot of people, as you've mentioned previously for the opening day, but also like visitors are from all around the world. So I want to ask you, what kind of reactions have you received from the international audiences, and were there memorable feedbacks or moments that stuck with you?
Yeah, there are a lot of like spectacle, and we enjoy spectacle, but Korean Pavilion is definitely not spectacular. But there's a meaning and reason for that. So one of the journalists from Korea Newsis, actually she called it quiet rebellion, and quite a few critics kind of label it as a very thoughtful, one of the most thoughtful and critical pavilions.
I mean, there can be different definitions of spectacular, right?
Exactly. Quiet rebellion is definitely something that sticks with you probably. And also the Korean contemporary arts has been definitely growing, showing growing interest around the world as well. So in your view, what do you think is the most strong strength that the Korean contemporary art has?
Well, I'm still like insider and outsider because I've been working and living in the Netherlands for last almost like 2 decades. So from this like your perspective, I think the diversity of language, diversity of artistic language, and the like dynamic intensity of the field with interest and passion for art is something very special. Yeah.
And Pinna, what would you like the visitors to remember once they leave the pavilion? If there would be one thing you really hope for them to, remember for a long time?
Well, the life as well as the time we live in can be oppressive and troubling. So I hope that people remember Korean Pavilion as a quiet, beautiful and ongoing movement that we need for liberating ourselves.
Right. And before we let you go, you earlier mentioned that the opening of the Venice Biennale this year was in May, but it's still running. So could you tell our viewers who might be in the region who still want to, make a visit there, especially to the Korean Pavilion, could you tell them until when the exhibition runs?
So exhibition is relatively long, so it goes until 22nd November. So quite a few months left. So I hope you can make visit.
All right. Thank you very much, Pinna, for taking us through the Korean Pavilion and the Venice Biennale exhibition. And yes, keep in touch. We hope to talk to you again about K-art.
Thank you so much for your interest.
And thank you, Bella, as always. We're going to have you back here soon.
Yes, I'll see you soon.
Thanks for watching and your interest in everything K-culture. Please tune in again tomorrow, 2 p.m. Korea time. Keep diving.